traders, it's 12 minutes past 3 p.m. here in Brisbane on Thursday, the 8th of February. And today I want to do something a bit different. So I got the question, what do you do when we see the opponents in and around your striking area, or we've seen the opponent coming down towards your knockout area, towards your points win, but we haven't seen an update video around it. So what have you decided to do, or what kept you out of that ring? So what I'm going to do with this new series, and we want to be able to release it at the end of each month or roughly around the end of each month, is actually look at these open fight cards. So I want to start with Kiwi Swiss. And Kiwi Swiss was an update. It was dollar combo to a previous fight card, which was posted back in November. And I got excited again when we came back into my level. So my level was the black line, and I was looking for compressions of price, a break below that level. And as we can see, this was very scratchy, very messy. We broke below it, rejected it, and we broke from pretty high up. So there wasn't anything interesting to do. Pull back very aggressively, down again, but not as low. And you can see it is going lower, but very, very scratchy. And the first nice pullback was actually this one. But if we'll take a look here on the 4 hours at that pullback, we can see it's quite ugly, quite scratchy, and not high probability, in my opinion, that this will continue towards my points win and my knockout. And it did break a bit below this area, pushed lower, and as you can see, buyers came back, and now we're pushing the price higher. So it came close to the point win, but haven't really got through it. So this one was spending a lot of time around my offense area, did not give me a high probability chance to start striking without running the risk of getting hurt as well. So the next one was Union Jack's fight card, and there were a couple of opponents in that fight card. So let's start with Pound Kiwi, and this one was a bit frustrating because when I did the fight card video, we were sitting around here and I wanted to see some compressions of price, and it was just before big economic news out of the UK. And as we can see, and if we'll drill down, hopefully we can find it on the 1 hour, we can see that the candle that actually broke that level, so we have to go back quite a lot. So this area, let's just zoom in into it. We can see that the candle that broke through it was actually the news candle. And I'd like to watch over my risk around big news events because we can see the market pinging and trigger us into a fight and then having it all roll over. So I was looking for a pullback and I was hoping for a quick pullback around that reaction, but that never came through. And as you can see, this one was a beauty. It ended up going to my points win and then into my knockout. So the knockout was just shy of these highs, and if I zoom out, we can see why. So there's a couple of touches. So it was just shy of that area, but this one, because of the risk of these high volatility news, I missed that one. So sometimes that happens too. Sometimes it's a beautiful move, it's a beautiful fight, but I ended up on the sideline on this one. The next one was Euro GBP, and the level that I was looking at was this one. So I was looking for weakness of the pound. So I had the pound Kiwi for strengthening of the pound, and the other ones was really looking at weakness of the pound. Now, as we can see, this is exactly the reason why we're waiting for the proper moment to start striking. This one went the other way. So it was a beautiful level, beautiful touches, but it rolled off from that area. So there was nothing to do with this one, which really emphasized the need for a precise striking. The next one in here, and I'm still keeping a close eye on this one. So we had the pound Canadian and we had update for that one. So that one, the fight did go on. The next one was pound US. So a pound US is an interesting one. I was looking at this level, the blue line, and I was was looking for a break. But I did mention that I would like to have a deeper pullback toward that gray line. Now we've done that, but what we can see, we just went sideways, 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 with a lot of indecision candle, rejections of the high, rejections of the low. And then we went up, but not as high as this area, and came back straight into that level. Now you might think that I got my compressions of price with this candle, but that's actually a Sunday candle. So not really compressions of price. We didn't get that small candle nesting on that level. We already had some wasted momentum. So I've decided to wait and see. And as we can see, we broke lower. We came close to my knockout level, but we haven't been able to break it. So what I'm seeing right now is that we saw buyers coming up at a bit of a higher level. So that gives me a bit of a worry around that break. So while I'm still watching this area, I'd like it to go a bit deeper back again into the gray area. I'll be very careful looking for a potential hit on this one. So for a striking area, I'm still watching this one, but the merits for this fight are slightly changing. So if we'll take a look here on the weekly, this could potentially be printing a higher low because we haven't been able to go below this level and push to a lower low. So while I'm keeping an eye on this one for the time being, there's nothing to do. The next one was high time, and that was the Nikkei. And with this one, I was looking for a pullback, a decent pullback in and around the 61.8% retracement of that original move. So in and around that 34,000. And as we can see, we just kept on going higher. We went sideways and now continuing higher again, though we haven't yet broke this previous high. I'm still looking for a proper pullback on the index market and not just on the Nikkei. So with this one, you can see here on the weekly, very overextended. I want to see a bit of release of the very strong buying pressure that is currently on the index market. And really, when we look at it from the monthly point of view, this level is a beautiful level for the market to pull back into. So I'm still keeping an eye on this market. Obviously, this fib retracement are no longer valid. The market has moved from there already, but I like these areas and am keeping an eye on this one. And that goes to same for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. So that was from the fight card US Index Power. So this one short powered on. And here, this is the S&P. We had a pullback, but not into my level yet, and we have continued higher. So if we'll take a look here on the weekly, we can see that we can still pull back in the context of the weekly. I still like this area. I like where it's coming into, but I need to see once again that release of the very strong buying power. And I saw a lot of headlines today talking about how the S&P came also close to that psychological level of 5,000. So let's take a quick look on the Nasdaq. So that was also there in the US Index Power fight card, and this one also ran away. So as you can see, these are the fib retracement that I've marked, and I was looking for this area between the blue line and the light line here, the orange line, for the market to pull back into and into that 17,000 round number. So we had a pullback and it was a nice pullback, but as you can see, it was kind of pushing here as a lower high. So I wanted to see a deeper pullback, and I never got that pullback. We came back up, and I was contemplating this level, but I don't really like it when we're sitting so high up and then take a break higher. So if we'll take a look at the monthly, we are very overextended. Sure, we could push some more. We've seen this one keep on pushing more and more and more, but at some points it becomes the level of risk toward the reward, and I wasn't feeling the love into taking a break so high up after such a big buying move. So once again, with the index market, I want to see those pullbacks, and I would love to see those pullback in the context of the weekly. So even on this Nasdaq pulling back into this area could look still nice, still in an uptrend, still looking great from the context of the weekly chart. So even when this market will pull back in the context of the weekly chart, I will still drill down into lower time frame and look for a reason to start striking. So I'm keeping an eye on these index fight cards, and I want to see if we could get that potential pullback in the context of the higher time frame. Lastly, we're looking at Maple Rush, and that was dollar CAD. So with this one, I was looking at the green line for my offense line. So this is the area that I was looking for the offense line, and we were somewhere around here when I did the fight card video. And I was looking for either compressions of price or a break and a retrace. Now, I never got that compressions of price. The market broke through that area. But when I'm looking at potential retrace and then looking to take it on the way out, I need to see how we broke that level, what sort of power did we have, how did the pullback look like. I want to see all kinds of beautiful things before I'm looking to start my striking. And as we can see, the break here was not very impressive. We broke just slightly lower, and then we met with some more buyers. They were able to push the price higher. Sellers came back, pushed the price lower, kind of like a meh sort of lower low. Not very impressive. Buyers came back. So all through and through this price action, there's a lot of fight by the buyers, which makes me feel like I need to see better signs that the sellers are ready to take the upper hand. And as you can see here, the market did break lower and got into my point swing. So the pink line was the point swing, and over here the purple line was the knockout area. But it wasn't necessarily the high probability case that would happen. So all along this area, I didn't get any signs that the sellers are actually picking up momentum and ready to strike down the buyers. And really, as we can see from here, even though it got to the point swing, that was a good area to look for that target. So there really was a renewing power by the buyers. And if we'll take a look here on the daily, we can see that the buyers who came from here were actually able to push the price to a higher high and back into that breakout level. So on this one, I didn't get any good reason to enter. And in fact, there were a lot of signs around this area as the price progressed that was telling me, watch out, as there is renewed power by the buyers coming in into this market, and they look like they are going to take over the sellers, even though the sellers were able eventually to make that last hurrah lower toward that point swing. It was still not a high probability strike. So this is it for the open fight card for the month of January. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this idea of fight card recap at the end of each month. Happy knockouts, everyone. Bye for now.